you doing in your 20s? You're having your own family.
Yeah, I just decided one day I was going to start making rolls. And the first one of the rolls I made, they were terrible. They're on. I just kept,
working for that
with
feeling.
Them, working for that feeling. And finally, this is one I've used for the past 30, 40 years.
40 years,
yeah.
50 years?
50 years, yeah.
Welcome to Holly Hill in historic Midway, Kentucky. I'm Ouita Michel, and this is Up Home. The food of Central Kentucky reflects who we are as a community. It's the intersection of people, places, and ingredients. And when we find our place in that community, we become part of the greater story, honoring our past and celebrating our future. Freda Raglin makes the best yeast rolls I've ever eaten. I've been chasing her recipe for 20 years, but I still feel like I'm a long way from getting it just right. I've learned so much from Freda about food and cooking, but also about friendship and hard work. She's a mentor and a dear friend, and her story has inspired me since the day I met her.
And the key is you do everything by feeling.
Yes.
So you feel your dough and you know what you're looking for, but you don't measure the flour.
No.
And so for years I was putting way too much flour in. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm making a soft dough, but it's still not quite, it's not as good or as light. Light as air is what your rolls are.
Yes. Okay, well,
So-
we're going to start with 2 cups of milk.
Okay, 2 cups of milk, and we're going to scald this. Is
You're
that
going
right?
to scald the milk, the butter, three sticks of butter.
I don't think that's enough butter, Freda. 3 sticks of butter. Okay.
Three sticks of butter.
And then
A little over half a cup of sugar.
okay.
This one.
A little bit, half and a little.
And salt.
And I like the measurement on that. I would say 2 teaspoons plus a bit.
Right.
And we're going to scald this.
We're going to scald this.
Okay. So when you're scalding something, is there a trick that you use? You go low heat?
Low heat, and I look for the bubbles around the...
We have that big scene where we're cooking those yeast rolls.
Yes.
And the lesson for young cooks is you're always feeling it and seeing
I think
how
you
it
have
goes.
to have that desire
Yeah.
to really want to cook. And that's always been with me. I've always cooked.
Yeah, and you're not the only one in your family
No.
that cooked professionally. Right.
Well, my grandmother,
Where did she cook?
she cooked at the Glendon Hotel in Richmond. It was 2 cooks, and she was one of the best cooks in Richmond, I was told.
Yeah, she was legendary.
Yeah.
Like you. And then your mom worked there too?
She worked as a salad girl. This is a picture of my mom.
Oh my gosh. What was her name?
Her name was Patty Miller Banks.
And she...
Oh, she probably made the dresses she was wearing, though she never had any formal training as far as sewing or cooking. It was just God-given gift.
And she worked on a wood-burning stove? Or?
She did.
Now, who is this?
That's my father. His name was William Henry Clay Miller.
How did they meet?
I think he went to the basketball game. She was playing basketball, women's basketball.
Oh, Patty was a basketball player.
They won trophies. They beat some of the teams here, in Lexington.
And this was their...
50th wedding anniversary.
Oh, my gosh. So how long were they married?
59 years.
So now we've got our lukewarm scalded milk in there.
Right. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to put some flour in this mixture.
Okay. So that's 2 heaping cupfuls. I'm going to try to keep track. And so that's a scant cup. 2 heaping, 1 scant.
Now let's turn it.
Okay, so you want me to come on up? I'll let you handle the controls.
And I'll see if I need any more.
So just kind of bringing everything together right now.
Yeah, we're bringing everything together. Put a little more flour in here. I want it to be on this consistency of maybe a pancake batter.
Okay,
Yeah.
consistency of pancake
And
batter.
then I'm we're gonna let it beat a little higher speed for 2 minutes.
You've told me before that you were about 10 years old when you really started cooking some.
Well, 11.
What were you making?
Well, the first thing I ever made was biscuits. And then when I was in high school, I made this cake, and it must have been a pound, like a pound cake. We didn't have electricity, so you had to do everything, your cream, your butter, and your sugar, and all of that by hand. And one of the cakes I took to school, they said that I didn't make it.
Oh.
They had to go get my sister, and she said, yes, she did make that cake.
So now we're starting to see the batter's really smoothing out.
Yeah, it's smoothing out.
And it's developing some legs, you know, around the side.
Now it's 2 minutes is up, and I'm going to add 4 eggs.
Okay.
So when it's mixed up, I'm going to add a little more flour and the yeast in with this next batch of flour.
Okay, so we're adding flour and yeast at the same time. I've totally lost track of how much flour, so I'm going to have to just use feeling.
We're going to slowly add flour until we get it to the consistency that...
So you just got to keep your mixer on low and you're adding flour a little at a time.
Yeah. Now we're going to turn it up and beat it for 2 more minutes.
Okay. Now you really can see the legs developing on him.
I'm going to cut it down again, and then I'm going to add a little more flour until I get
What you're looking for.
what I'm looking for. It's not there yet. Just a wee bit more. And that's it.
That's it. And this is the thing I think that people need to know the most is that this is a very soft, very sticky dough.
It is very soft.
And I remember you teaching me that from way back. You don't flour your hands when you handle this dough.
No.
You grease your
Just
hands.
put it in butter. Okay, I think there we go.
You
Now,
want to touch it?
hand it a little oil also. Okay, it's there.
Oh, I got to do that. A little bit of cooking oil. Oh yeah, look at that. That is a extremely soft dough. Wow, that's great.
Okay, and we're going to grease our bowl.
Yeah, that's not your average bread dough, is it?
No.
I don't want any of this fabulous dough to go to waste. I mean, it's a very rich dough. It's got it's got sugar, it's got whole milk, eggs, and butter. So it's like almost like a Southern style brioche. You know what I mean? It's that soft egg bread.
Now we're ready to let it rise. It takes about an hour for it to rise.
And there's kind of a famous story about you feeding the chickens.
That was the cook in me, I guess, coming out, because we would go out and we would play and we'd pick weeds. So one day we were going to make a cake, and we used my father's salt and his hog feed.
Salt and hog feed.
Yeah, the salt came from where he cured his hams.
Oh, okay.
And we knew we'd get in trouble, so just as soon as we thought Eddie was coming home, Marcella and I ran it. We had to get rid of it, so we fed it to the chickens. And the next morning, Mother came up and she said, "What happened?" I said, "Both of those old setting hens are dead." We didn't realize that that's what it was, but we figured out, we killed those chickens.
Once you make the first round of dough, you let it rise 1 hour. Now we're going to shape the dough into the rolls, and we'll let them rise again.
That's correct.
Right. Okay, so you just turn it out, and you pat it out.
And then
And you kind of tell if it's, oh my gosh, Freda, this dough feels so good. But when you press it, if it's not bouncing back, it's risen to the right stage.
Right stage.
Okay. And once you get it about, what are you looking at, about a 1/2 inch thick?
Yes.
Once you get it to about a 1/2 inch thick, then you start to cut it. Oh, you have your magic pans. Now these are very special. This is how you know you're getting a Freda Raglin roll. Because you put 13 in each pan.
13
and I know
in
we
each
need
pan.
our oil. I've got
Our
it.
butter.
Oh, and our butter. Yes, our butter.
Have to have that extra dip of butter.
Do you put butter in the bottom?
Well,
No.
I
You don't need to.
don't need to because I've already
Because we're already dipping in butter.
you're
Okay,
already
all right,
getting-
I knew that.
Already getting buttery in here.
So you cut them in these little squares. So Frida, growing up, what was the thing that your mom made that you loved the most?
I think I loved her fried chicken and her greens. I've never, in all of my 80 years, I've never tasted greens like she made.
Oh, well, tell me about your mom's greens.
Well, she used seasoned meat.
Oh, see,
Where my father had killed
the hogs.
slaughtered.
Yeah. Okay, so we put 13 in a pan. Cool. Now we're gonna let them rise.
I'm gonna set them up here and let them rise.
Rise on the shelf there.
Is there one particular dish that you can think of that your mom made you that then you made for your children in the same way that she made? Like that kind of came down?
Well, she always fixed potato patties.
Oh, now what's that?
Oh, well, they may call them something else, but growing up, we called them potato patties. After we had leftover mashed potatoes, she would take the mashed potatoes and put an egg in them and season them up. She would roll them in little and flatten them out and flour them and fry them.
And you made those for your kids?
They loved them.
Yeah, we've let these rise 2 times now.
Yes.
Shaped them and rised them. Now it's time for the oven, yes?
Now time for oven,
And we have the oven on. It's a convection oven we're using.
and it's 375
375
for
for
about 12 minutes.
12 minutes. And these are risen to the very top of their little pan.
Yes.
Your special yeast roll pan. All right. And one batch of dough
Takes
makes
about a little over 5 dozen.
5 dozen, yes, because will you put a baker's dozen
Yeah,
in
put
every pan?
Every pan.
All right, well, let
It's
this
a
go
baker's oven.
12 minutes.
All right.
Okay, I think these ones on the top are beautiful. Oh my goodness, Frida.
Okay.
I'll pull them out for you.
Okay, and I'm going to start brushing them with the butter.
These are the piece de resistance.
Okay, yes.
Oh, I'm gonna turn that oven off. 'Cause it's
Yeah, there.
Oh, those look so good. When you were making...
Once again, I feel like Frida's yeast roll recipe has slipped through my fingers. But even if I don't have the exact measurements, the most important takeaway for me is that the key to Frida's recipe is Frida herself. Her process and technique, and the confidence to trust her own intuition, are what makes Frida's rolls the best, and what makes her one of Kentucky's culinary treasures.
Takes the
I want to I have to check the steam level in this. You know, it's terrible. Oh my gosh. Honestly, Frida, it's really the best yeast roll ever made. And I'm not
Thank
the
you.
only one that says that. I mean, oh my gosh, you're killing me. I love you so much. And not just for your rolls.
Okay.
Roll, baby, roll.
Yeah.